Hello, 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 and welcome back to the Drag Race RHAPup here on reality TV RHAPups. I'm your host, Liana Boraas, and we are here to talk about everything from episode 10 of RuPaul's Drag Race season 14. It was Snatch Game, or was it Snatch Game? I don't know. Another non-elimination, but we will get into everything from that episode, as well as touching on the Drag Race UK versus the World finale. That's right. It's over. It's done. So we'll talk about the winner and all of that. But first, let me welcome in our fabulous panel who's here to help me break everything down. First, woman who I'm always happy to talk to. It is Beth Dixon. Beth, how are you?
I'm doing well, but I'm really excited to investigate both of these episodes. What made the winner of UK versus the world, and what made possibly one of the worst Snatch games ever happen?
That's right. We're not giving commentary. We're just investigating.
Yeah, I'm not judging. I'm just investigating.
Investigating. All right. And the panel would not be complete without the wonderful Aman Adwin. Aman, how are you?
I'm great. I'm kind of sad because I did not get to watch this episode at the bar that I usually go to because my buddy came down with a bit of an illness, not COVID or anything like that. He just got sick, so I just stayed in for the next. But I would have loved to have been there to see the audience's reaction in real time to this doozy of an episode. But yeah, I'm great. Glad to be back.
Yeah, doozy of an episode indeed. So Deja Skye does get her first win, which we had touched on that, and she mentions herself, the Susan Lucci, no longer. She has her first win. It was Snatch Game, but apparently everybody else was so bad that we simultaneously couldn't eliminate anybody because everybody was so bad. So we have to have a separate lip sync Lollapalooza SmackDown something.
Yeah.
I don't even remember the name in next week's episode, which I guess will send one queen home, two queens home.
The way I need them to send 3 queens home next week in order to be on track.
Yeah.
There are 8 queens left. Still.
8 queens. There are 8 whole queens that are left in this competition. And
Going
we're like,
into episode 11.
Episode 11 on a season
Yes.
that usually has around 14 to 15 episodes.
Yes.
We still have 8 queens, and I'm interested about that too. It's like, is this like tournament style? So like when somebody loses, do they then go and like lip sync the next loser, and you just whittle it down to one? Like they should just send 2 people home. They should just send 2 people home.
Elton John might tell us how it goes next week. So.
Oh yeah, right.
That was such a random moment in UK versus.
Oh my god, in UK versus, we'll talk about the random cameos that Ru purchased that were like clearly not personalized at all.
Cameos.
but yes, so Aman, I totally get what you're saying. Also because there's 7 queens, so like how are we gonna? Is it like it can't just be everybody lip syncs because it's like I don't know, something about the name Lollapalooza SmackDown lip sync thing makes me feel like it has to be something bigger, like multiple rounds. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, like it's like I guess it's like the thing that they did in All Stars 4 when they had everybody come back and lip sync their way back into the competition, I guess. So it's like everybody they'll just pair people off, and then the winner, whoever wins the first round is safe. And then you have all the losers go against each other, and then whoever loses that is out.
But they have an odd man out.
You would still have multiple. Yeah, that's
because there's 7. So you would have 2. Okay. You would have 3 groups of 2 with 1 left over. So maybe a 3, because we've seen a 3-person lip sync before, because in the season premiere of 12, Tina Burner lip synced against 3. Like there were 3 of them. It was Elliot, Kimora, maybe, and Tina Burner. Anyway, whatever. They've done a 3-person lip sync SmackDown before. Also, we have the finale of season 10 that also had 3. So yeah, so we could do
everyone but Asia.
Yeah. Oh yikes. So we could do 2 groups of 2 groups of 2 and 1 group of 3.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then the winners move on, and then we're left with 4, and then they face off. And then the losers of that lip sync face off. Then that's 1, 2, 3, 4,
Yes.
5, 6. That's 6 lip syncs.
Or we could go even crazier. Are you ready for this?
Okay.
Everybody lip syncs by themselves, all
Uh-huh.
7.
Okay.
Whichever one is the weakest is kind of put off to the side, maybe. And then you have the other pairs go against each other. And then it's lip syncing until there's a loser, essentially. So once you win, you're safe and you don't have to lip sync.
So the
anymore.
one who's the best, the one who did the best out of the 7 is safe. And then the losers lip sync?
So what I'm thinking of is I think he really wants to punish them, right? So if you're like the worst.
Okay. The absolute worst, like the worst.
You're the outsider one. And then everybody is kind of going, you don't want to stay in the competition, basically. So everyone's going to have to lip sync at least twice.
Okay.
I don't think that's how it's going to go. But I'm just thinking if he wants to be fucking crazy, RuPaul will do something like that.
You know, I'm just not particularly enamored with a lot of the girls that are left in terms of like the lip syncing skills. Okay, we don't really have a lot of Trinity K. Bonets or Laganjas or
and Deja, who's the lip sync
else.
assassin, isn't even going to lip sync.
I know.
Yeah,
like do next week? Just chill.
So what if she does lip sync, but she's just safe? And whoever goes against her,
I don't think she's going to compete. But sorry, Aman, keep going.
Sorry.
No, I was just saying, I'm just worried that we're going to get a slew of songs that are going to be wasted on
Yes. You are exactly correct. Because even the queens that I would say are like the true lip sync assassins, like the Jasmine Kennedys, the Georgeses of the world, we've now seen them lip sync multiple times. So even that, like the allure is gone. So Angeria,
off, yeah.
Okay, who haven't we seen? Angeria, we haven't seen lip sync.
Willow,
and Bosco,
Lady Camden,
and Lady Camden.
Okay, no, we have seen Lady Camden, but that was for the win.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
So Lady Camden, I'm excited for.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we could see more of Lady Camden.
I'm excited to see Bosco. I've seen her lip sync on videos, and she's good.
Okay.
She is entertaining. She's not like she's a dancer, but she's not like a Jasmine Kennedy kind of dancer. She's just like, she really takes on the song in a unique way. So she's fine.
Okay. Yeah. And that's the thing is like, because we haven't seen 4 of them lip sync yet. Okay. Maybe now we'll have, or 3 of them, I guess. Now we'll have the opportunity to see that. But we have seen Diabetes lip sync because remember, she was sent home week 1.
Mm-hmm.
We have seen Lady Camden lip sync, but like you mentioned for the win, Deja, we've seen lip sync, but it doesn't matter. She's not participating. Jasmine Kennedy and Georges, we have seen multiple times now.
Yeah.
So look, when Diabetes was like, am I irritated that there are 8 of us left? Or 8 of us still here, or whatever she said? Absolutely. And I was like, yes, absolutely. And then we went and still didn't eliminate someone. And I was like, yes, absolutely. It's so frustrating because you're taking a season that is a good season, and I feel like you're just ruining it by doing these non-eliminations. One of my friends texted me, and she was like, by comparison, Bob had already been crowned by episode 10. Like, Bob had already won a season by this time, and we have 8 queens left. Oh, I'm so annoyed.
It's just about the money, I guess, and these advertiser dollars. Like, as you just stretch the season out, more money for the network, more money for RuPaul. Somebody was like, "Here's a novel idea. How about you just cast more queens and just eliminate the queens?"
No, but seriously though, like just have 16 queens. If you want to have a season that's long, just cast more queens. I know that VH1 requires so many more episodes than Logo ever did, and it seems like they're increasing it every year. And to that question, I say, you already have Untucked VH1. Like, we don't really. I want you to know, none of us care to have more episodes.
Yeah,
none of us.
I just think back to, and this is like not just out of the realm of Drag Race, but I just think back to Viola Davis. I remember reading an interview that she did when she had initially signed on to become Annalise Keating and How to Get Away with Murder. And she was looking at Grey's Anatomy and she was looking at Scandal, and she noticed how those shows, their seasons are like 20 plus episodes, right? Not all of them, but most of them. And she was like, you know, I don't really care to be Annalise Keating for like 1/3 of the year. You know what I mean? Like, I kind of want there should be urgency when it comes to when we write these episodes, because we know that we're only going to get a finite amount. And so she only agreed to be on the show for 15 episodes per season. Okay, so that way when the show is about to reach the end of its life and you know there's time to wrap things up, you end it nicely. So How to Get Away with Murder had 15 episode seasons, 6 seasons. Okay, and it went from 2014 to 2020. It was a beautiful run. She got like 3 nominations. She got the Emmy. She was the first African American woman to win an Emmy in a dramatic series, and it just went out on a completely beautiful high note, right? That's the way to do it, RuPaul. Like, I know that you want money, I get it, but just tell VH1, because they're not and maybe I'm overestimating what the power that RuPaul has, or maybe I'm just underestimating his greed. I feel like you have the power to be like, we're doing a little bit too much here. And plus, we already have so many different international versions of the show. If you can't get enough Drag Race here in the States, go abroad. Okay, there's like, put that $3 in that Wow Wonder account, World of Wonder account, and just watch Drag Race to your heart's content. But for here in the States, what I want for us to have is 12 episode seasons. That's it.
Yes.
I feel like VH1 would have no choice but to be like, all right, well, it is your show, so I guess we're just going to have to abide by that. It just seems
especially since these episodes are now an hour and a half, like it's just like, it's too many slices of pie. Like, you have like 17,000 episodes at an hour and a half every week. Now, don't get me wrong, I was super excited when they stretched it out to an hour and a half, because now I feel like we're getting more character background of the queens. We also know that a lot of that can be like manufactured by production, but most of it feels a little bit more organic now than it had in the past, which is good. And we're seeing more of these wonderful character moments in addition to the silliness. I like that we've gone back to mini challenges. I love that kind of the camp of it that created such a wonderful feeling on Logo. Like, we're finally recapturing that. Just need you to cut down on episodes a little bit. Now, I will say the one reason why I'm happy that I still have 4 people on my draft. So I haven't had to lose anybody here.
I mean, there is that as well. I mean, I must say, even my
it has been nice for you to hold on to Georges.
Georges is just
really
gift,
riding that out.
the gift that keeps on giving, baby. That's right, Georges. You better stay in that competition, sweetie. But I'm just like, look, RuPaul, like you don't have to do this. You don't have to do this. Like, blink twice if you need help, because we need help out here. And you can still have gag-worthy seasons. You can still, like, it's not like we were like, season 5 is still considered one of the best seasons of the show, and it did not drag itself out for half the year. Okay, you can, if you want to have a double Shantae in there, do it, and then eliminate 3 queens the next episode. Like, do it. If you really want to do that, then do it. But it's just, it doesn't have to be this way. That's all.
I feel like Drag Race is going through a lot of the growing pains that other reality TV shows have gone through, which is feeling this need to out-gag themselves every single season, to have the new twist, the new this, the new that. Whereas, like, if you just who's that little birdie mentioning other reality TV shows? I don't know, I can't hear it. You just need good people. Just cast entertaining people. And I would even say this cast is entertaining. Just let them, like, be themselves, be entertaining, and just stop, because I'm looking at the thing right now. So technically there were 2 elimination episodes at the beginning of the season, but then because Orion and Daya were brought back, they don't really count as non-eliminations.
Cancels
right?
out. Yep.
So, okay, so that's okay. So 2 non-eliminations, then another non-elimination when they all did well and it was the top 2. Then we had a non-elimination last week, and now we have another non-elimination this week. That's 5 of your 10 episodes were non-elimination episodes, essentially. That's ridiculous. In what universe, in what other reality TV show are half of your episodes non-elimination episodes?
Edge of Extinction.
Well, technically none of them are elimination episodes until the very, very end. Well, no, I guess did Keith leave?
Yeah.
Sandra left to
Or
Winners at
Sandra
War.
left? Yeah, exactly.
Oh,
Whatever.
right.
Anyway, the point is that I'm annoyed and I'm frustrated and I want to love the show because I do love the show. But when this is happening, it's just so much. And I don't even want to go back and listen to what we were saying last week. But like, I remember us being like, well, it's kind of annoying, but like, we're okay because it's going to be fine.
No, it's annoying now.
Next week. I'm annoyed. I'm so
we're in the middle of March and no one's been eliminated this month, by the way.
Yeah. Yeah. That's what everybody kept saying. Like a queen is not going home in the entire month of March.
Let's contextualize that though. It's 2 episodes. Like it's 2 weeks, which is a lot, but they're like the entire month of March. I'm like, we're 2 weeks in. Like,
I don't care.
If we get to the end of March,
I mean,
gone, that's a stat
by the time Friday rolls around, it'll be what, like March 20th or so, March 19th,
March 18th.
So I mean, we will have gone like a third of the way, 2/3 of it into March, watching the same.
100%. I mean, the one thing I think we can count on is somebody's friggin' going home on Friday.
Dude, I hope so. If it doesn't happen, that's it. I'm done. You guys are on your own. You can finish the podcast season all on your own. I'm out.
We'll just instead of doing podcasts every week, we'll just do like a group rant session on like Twitter Spaces or whatever they are. Just like everybody who wants to come in, come chat. We're gonna just have a therapy time.
It's like at some point, like to the queens, like, and I don't know how much they're getting paid, but I'm wondering, like, is being on Drag Race even going to be financially worth the hit after a while? Like, you could have probably made so much more money just staying in NYC or wherever the fuck you are, going to gig after gig after gig, maybe like multiple times a week, than getting that little $1,000 little stipend that they give you. It might be a little bit more. I don't know how much it is, but like after a certain while, if they keep you there in LA in that hotel for like 3 months, then like, is it worth it, girl? Like, damn, like, whew.
And during the pandemic, sure, worth it. Obviously, we're still in the pandemic, but things have opened up now. Drag is happening outside. Probably not as worth it.
Okay. All right. Well,
can we actually talk about the episode?
Yeah, I was like, I can't decide if I feel better or not. I think I feel better, but yeah, let's talk about the episode. So I just want to jump right into Snatch Game because really, it's Snatch Game Runway, I guess the mini challenge, I suppose. But let's actually talk about the Snatch Game, right? Because the whole reason why no one went home is because everyone was so bad except for Deja. So I guess the first question is, do you guys feel like that is an accurate assessment of the Snatch Game this week? Was it so bad that it warranted sending everyone but Deja into an elimination smackdown?
No.
Okay, good. I'm glad we're all on the
same
same
page. This was better than season 4. Putting that out there. Season 4 had 2 people who did really well and everybody else was awful. And then you had Latrice, who was just mad at how bad people were doing. So she didn't even do anything. You know what I mean? Like, this was people trying at the very least. Yeah. But I don't know.
And they got some laughs from RuPaul and, from the audience. Like, I don't think that everybody's performance here, and to be quite honest, like, I'm glad that Deja won, but I mean, it's kind of hard. How do I say this? Because I think that she definitely should have won. She was the best by far. Totally get it. But like in the context of like the great performances of Snatch Game, I don't know if this is up there. So I'm like, if she's the benchmark, then surely the rest of the girls don't deserve to be at the bottom. Because I love that Betty, even though everybody's giving her so much grief for being like the bitter old bitch in I love it though. Bitter Betty in the confessional. She's like, you're saying I was as bad as them? Are you serious? Like,
that was my favorite confessional from this. You're saying I was as bad as Jasmine this week? There's a clip of Willow at play in Kentucky. Like at the bar, and they're filming that moment, and you see Betty's response, and Willow freaking loses it laughing, like almost falls off of her seat because it's so funny to her. And I'm like, yes, it was so good. I'm gonna say this. I I actually think Jasmine was better than most of the other people because at least Betsy DeVos doesn't know what the fuck is happening. Like, she was in character. I actually really liked her. My team did not prepare me for this. Like, I thought that was fine. And the way that they had silence, I was like, no, but that's really Betsy DeVos. Like, like, I don't know what people were so upset about. Meanwhile, Diabetti did nothing remotely related to Ozzy Osbourne. Just, and that's not even Ozzy. I don't know what you're doing there.
There was the one head joke at the beginning during the introduction that made me laugh. And yeah, apart from that, not a whole lot of jokes. Look, I would say for me, this is the perfect example of the power of editing. I think you
100%.
take this Snatch game and you show it against other garbage Snatch games, which we have had, right, in the past, and you see the way that they edit the laughter. They edit Ru cackling over some of the other jokes. Because I was listening, like, some of Lady Camden's jokes, I actually thought were really funny, and they just edited nothing. So this is my conspiracy theory, is that like this was their plan all along, and so they told the crew, don't laugh. I don't care how funny you think it is, don't laugh, because then they're also going to get in their own head, and it's going to be worse because they're not getting the reaction from the crew that like would theoretically be there reacting. And Ru's doing the same thing, and you can tell because Ru like starts at the beginning laughing at everybody and then just like stops halfway through. It's super weird. I think it's a conspiracy theory. I think they're messing with them. They were planning on this
because Ru will laugh at anything normally. So
yes, and there was I'm sorry. In what universe do you not get a kombucha joke? When they're like, I don't get it. What do you mean you don't get it? It's kombucha. She has goop. They have candles that smell like her vagina. So of course she would have kombucha, which is kombucha. I'm like, oh, is this like a Drag Race Down Under joke where now it's this is too low class for us, but then sometimes it's okay. I felt like I was going wacko because I just felt like what I was seeing on the screen was not consistent with what I was being told, and I was like, wait, I'm not allowed to laugh, but I am allowed to laugh. I mean, clearly there were people who like did not do well, that missed jokes, right? Okay, so I'm not saying it was like the funniest thing ever. Clearly it was missed opportunities, missed jokes, all of that, but it was not nearly as bad as it felt like the editors were trying to make it seem.
Agreed. I also don't think that Georges was that bad as Alana Glacier. Like I will say this, it was really funny when they kept showing her do like the little tongue, like, because it was so mechanical. It looked like she was one of those mechanical dolls at like Chuck E. Cheese, like, but even like I thought she captured the spirit of Alana fine. It's just that she didn't have the jokes necessarily to back it up. So everybody had elements of something that was right. Maybe they had the joke, but they didn't have the essence of the character, which therefore made the joke not as funny or something. Like I could not get past how awful Bosco's voice was for Gwyneth Paltrow. Like that really bothered me. But at the same time,
she sounded like Alaska.
Hello, RuPaul. I'm Gwyneth Paltrow. Like I thought it was so bad that was fucking funny to me. And in the same way that like Jasmine's like Southern accent a few weeks ago was so bad it was funny. That's how I felt Gwyneth was, which is what clearly Bosco was going for. Because she even said like, I have this idea of a characterization of Gwyneth Paltrow. So I just kind of I totally agree with you, Liana, that I really think this was kind of set up a little bit. And I'm going to do one big hot take here. I'm going to argue that on the whole, Snatch Game itself is not ever really good. I feel like every year we are disappointed with Snatch Game. And so what they did this year was they said, well, everyone's always disappointed with Snatch Game. What if we just panned everybody and just go from there? And as a means to troll both the queens and the audience.
Yeah, I do think that we have rose-colored lenses. I think that we we remember all of the greats. We remember the Little Edie. We remember the T.S. Madison performances. We remember Harriet Tubman last year. We just remember all of the good ones, and then we just expect all of them to be like that, and that's just not going to be the case. Like some of these queens are just not good at improv. Improv is hard. It is. It's hard to just do improv when you're just being yourself, let alone having to put a character on top of all of that. But I mean, I do take the point that Snatch Game isn't necessarily an acting challenge; it is a comedy challenge. I love that. Well, let's just be clear. I think the best Snatch Game performance of the episode was Dove Cameron as a guest judge on on RuPaul's Drag Race.
Dove
She
Cameron
killed it.
killed it.
Yeah.
She knocked it out.
So fun.
She came to that set with a look. She came to that set ready to critique. She had notes. She like they had no choice but to give her more screen time than Carson. I was like, okay, who's judging this shit over here? So
She had a point of view with no agenda. It was
Mhm.
amazing.
it was great. It was so
Every
good.
time I see a cis white girl come on as a judge, I get a little nervous because I know how us cis white girls can be.
A little
Like,
too
I'm
into
really
voguing.
into voguing right now. You know, like
Really into voguing right now.
I'm, you know, but she came in and I was just like, oh, that is what a judge should be, regardless
Yeah.
of whatever your identities are. No, she was great. But I totally agree with you, Aman. Like,
Sorry, I'm going back to my conspiracy there. I feel like they heard Willow say there's just going to be one challenge that we all bomb. And the
Mhm.
producers were like,
worked it into the story.
yeah, exactly. Like, this is a great quote. Like, this is so good.
oh,
Let's
how does she
use
know we
this.
were going to do this in 2 weeks and do a double Shantae next week in order to make sure we had 8 queens?
So, like, time it out. Exactly correct. Yeah.
I think I asked this question on this podcast before, but I can't remember our conversation about it. But like sometimes I'm like, are we just, not to sound like pretentious at all, are we just like too cerebral and too intelligent for the show? Like, is it that what it is?
Yeah.
Do most people watch the show and they don't think about this stuff as deeply because they don't have to podcast about it for one, and for two, it's just like it's just like mindless television to them. It's like, oh wow, a lip sync tournament next episode. It's gonna be so much fun. Like, I'm sure there are so many people out there that are just like that, and I wonder if the vast majority of fans are sort of just like that, and they just don't really give a shit. You know what I mean? And because I know that, at least on Twitter, I know that the people that are on Twitter are like us. So like, what?
Yeah.
Like, RuPaul, come on! Like, what are we doing? So I know that there are people that are like, we're definitely not a small contingent, but I wonder if like maybe we are overestimating how big of a contingent we actually are, and if production is just going to pander to whoever they think is going to enjoy the show the most. And not to say that we don't enjoy it. We're all going to be there next week. I'm going to watch it still. I'm going to watch it. I'm going to be watching Drag Race until the wheels fall off.
Rat Race. It is.
Rabbit Race. Yes, it is a Rabbit Race. I'm going to be watching that shit until it's said and done. But, you know, I just wonder maybe we're just, you know, we're just too smart for it. Especially
like,
that has always been my issue,
Aman. I know, I'm too smart.
That's just my biggest flaw. I'm just too smart for this.
Well, that's why I'm so smart. I'm curious where the Drag Race casuals are, because normally we would go to Facebook for the Survivor or the Big Brother casuals. So I am trying to see the Facebook page for RuPaul's Drag Race.
I'm actually scared of what this could show.
Yeah, I mean, it's like everybody's sort of in line with what the show edited together. Such a disappointment, painful to watch, except for Deja. I'm trying to look for something with a lip sync, but like definitely in terms of their interpretation of the Snatch game, it was what the show telegraphed.
Yeah.
I have learned that Facebook is the place where you go to fall in line with anything. Just generally speaking, it could be politics or it could be whatever, and Twitter's the place where you go to complain about everything. And so you have to find the middle ground, where I don't know where that is. If it's TikTok?
I don't like being, I guess I just enjoy the people that really take time to understand the editing style of RuPaul's Drag Race, which is why I do watch so many Drag Race YouTubers to hear their perspective about like, not only because we can understand the edit for what it is. We know when we're being fed something. We know when someone is being made to be in the bottom, or if it's a ploy and a red herring to make us think they're going to be in the bottom, but they're not. Like, we become pretty attuned to how editors do that. I guess like now the question that I like to get answered is, why is it like that? Like, why is production putting a lot of emphasis behind this particular queen so early on? Like, what is the story that they are trying to tell? What stories and storylines and arcs do Drag Race production typically favor over others? Like, do we like the fashion queen that ends up to have like a heart of gold that isn't a stuck-up bitch, or do we like the quirky queen that's underestimated and it ends up pulling it out like an Evie Oddly and a Jinx? Like, what is the meta of Drag Race? And that's sort of like, that's where I feel like I need to go now, because I feel like the edit within itself is just like not that interesting anymore on its own.
Yeah.
So
Okay, I still can't find anything about the lip sync SmackDown. No, like no one has said a word about it. And I'm scrolling down through the page trying to find something. It's mainly just like, this is the worst Snatch game ever. So, again, like, this sucks. This was bad. Blah 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 blah.
I didn't think that Angeria was that bad as Tammy Brown. Like, I laughed. I mean,
was like
the physicality was all there.
I agree that with Michelle that it was just completely one note. And also she missed so many isms. Like, I was hoping for her to pull out some of like did I ever tell you about the time I found a dead body? Like, I mean, just stuff like that would have been amazing.
Okay.
Or the
or like, the Teletubbies teleport us to Mars. Like, okay,
yeah.
So here's the thing. This is how, again, I go back to the editing. Okay, so they could have given the critiques the way that they did, or the critiques could have been like, Angeria, you're Tammy Brown. We wanted more of those isms. We wanted more of we wanted more of that. However, it was still really funny because blah, 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 blah. Like, it was weird. Like, it was almost like the way that Jujubee got positive critiques for her Cher impression. It was like, well, it was like a caricature of a caricature of a caricature. Oh, well, that's what you did with Tammy Brown here. It was like a caricature of a caricature. Yeah. So I could see her then somehow getting a positive critique based on exactly the same performance.
Same with Gwyneth Paltrow. Like,
yes, exactly. The Gwyneth Paltrow thing was a whole, like, I think maybe, I don't know, maybe Bosco was too smart also, because she even mentioned when they're getting ready for the challenge, I'm not doing Gwyneth Paltrow like Gwyneth Paltrow. I'm doing her as the snake oil salesman that she has become with Droop, because that's what we can say without being, sued by Goop. That was really funny concept, right? So then maybe it was just like there were things missing in the execution, but I could see still that getting positive critiques. So maybe
I think it was a very intelligent approach.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, totally agree. It was like very cerebral, very much like you kind of have to think about the jokes that are being told to you. So maybe it was like it wasn't stupid humor enough, or maybe the queens didn't push it far enough. So like maybe she didn't push it far enough. Maybe Lady Camden didn't push it far enough as William Shakespeare, and they were just like hoping for more. I don't know. Obviously, we weren't in the room, but like clearly we all have very strong opinions about this.
So if you guys had to choose who the bottom two were, who would they be? I know who my bottom two would be, but I want to hear what yours would be.
So I tried to go through and I tried
not
to
including
pick
the runway, just performance.
Just performance. I tried to pick where I would put people. I felt like Willow did not do well. Like, she's fundamentally, I think I probably would have put Willow in the bottom two. Then I think it's really a toss-up for me between Georges, maybe Jasmine, depending on the interpretation, or Daya. I think probably. I think I would have had Deja, Bosco, and Lady Camden in the top.
Yep.
Yes. So my bottom two would be Willow, and then either one of Jasmine, Georges, or Daya.
Okay. Willow's definitely, I think, the one who did the worst out of everyone.
Yeah, I think Willow, and I'm trying to remove my bias. And I'm also trying to like see through the edit and trying to read between the lines. Right. Was it Jasmine or was it Georges? I feel like it might have been Georges.
Okay.
Yeah, I think I'd probably say Georges and Willow. Yeah.
Maybe that's why they didn't want Georges sending Willow home.
Probably. I was going to say, for me personally, Willow definitely. Diabetes the other one, because not only did I just feel like the whole characterization was off point, she was also just copying answers off of like,
I thought that was the gag. Was it like he's too senile to like come up with his own thing, so he's gonna copy? I don't know.
I didn't even get that as a gag. I just thought that he was like, I don't know what I'm doing. Okay, I'll just write this down. Like,
it was a bit.
like,
Yeah, there was a bit of like, because I mean, it is an improv challenge, and you should never shut down whatever the
Yeah.
prompt is. You have to
Mhm.
go with it, and so there was a bit of that as well. But I think what pushes like what she did to save herself was sort of go over the top where some of the others were not. So I feel
Yeah.
like at the end of the day, if you ham it up, you will save yourself. You know what I
Yep.
mean? And I think that she delivered on that front, but
Then if
Georges and Jasmine did not.
Yeah. I kind of feel like then if you were to add in the runways, I loved Willow's runway.
Mm.
I thought the whole category was an interesting choice. Like
Yeah,
not in a
what
not in a
specifically was the category?
Okay, so this was the utmost confusion to me. It was holy couture. Now, I interpreted that as high fashion with holes in it, like holes, but no, it was like religious holy, not like Swiss cheese holy.
But somebody, whoever would have went with that one, would have probably had the best look, in my opinion. Like,
which
Right?
I thought that was what Willow was going for at first was the holes, and then I realized like no, she really is just trying to be a
She
mushroom.
like worships mushrooms. So I don't know. Maybe it was like I heard a lot of worship. So maybe it was like worship couture was maybe what they were originally
yeah,
given or something with that because it felt
Yeah.
like it was like religious-y things. So something you worship, but then everybody I felt like interpreted it differently because like Angeria, for example, was dressed as, the church lady,
Yeah.
right? And then Willow was like, I'm a mushroom. I was like, okay. So
yeah,
you worship mushrooms? Is that like what it is?
Yeah.
That's because then also Lady Camden was, I'm the Spice Girls because I worship the Spice Girls.
Right.
Okay.
I just
right.
there's a part now, don't get me wrong. I'm not really religious at all. I consider myself agnostic. I could see how this runway would become very controversial very quickly.
Mhm.
In the in a sense of appropriation, not to the Christian churches. I don't care that much because they're hegemonic power, so whatever. But like if you had done something that was like a take if you weren't a Jewish queen, for example, and you did something that was like a take on Judaism, that could be very controversial. If you did something that was, I don't know, I just felt like this was in such a weird territory that you had to be able to say, what is something that I personally follow
Yeah,
spiritually or religiously? So and that's what everybody did. So I believe the prompt they got wasn't about do something that is religious in nature, but I'm sure that it was, hey, what's something that you personally find spiritual or something that you do, because we all know that RuPaul is really big on everybody should have a spiritual practice. Like, he used to talk about it all the time on What's the Tea, making sure that every guest he had on, he would ask, hey, so what do you do as like a spiritual practice? Like some people have church and that kind of thing, but other people do meditation. Like what is something you do that's spiritual in order to get in tune with that side? That I think makes much more sense because then you're getting to know that queen a little bit better through the vulnerabilities, but it just doesn't come across that way with Holy Couture.
yeah. It should. You need the name needs to be better because, like,
Yeah.
because I mean, I agree with what you're saying. Like, you do. So I mean, every time you go into religion, you are sort of entering a territory that can get very dicey, and maybe that's
Yeah.
not something that you want to do on a show like Drag Race, where everyone has the potential to become super offended. Because I think drag within itself is very much meant to be in that lane and offend you and
Mhm.
challenge your ideas
Totally.
about that. So, like, if you want to wear something that's a little sacrilegious, like, go ahead, girl. Like, I mean, if you're okay
Yeah.
with the church coming for you, then go ahead. Like, you do what
Mhm.
you gotta do. But yeah, I can understand. I can understand the prompt being a little bit more personal,
Yeah.
but it does sort of like it does. I mean, and then you can kind of do whatever you want. Then, like, it's like whatever you choose to worship that day. Like, I could say that I really, really worship some Jiffy peanut butter, so I'm gonna dress up like peanut butter today. And it's like, all right, so where are we going here? You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
they should have given us a bit more of because that's what we got, so many different interpretations on the
Mhm.
runway.
Well, okay. What is Deja worshiping? Because Deja was the first one to walk the runway, and this is what extra made me confused. I was still confused
Mhm.
about the whole thing, but then what is she
She
worshiping?
She
She's
said she worships bad bitches, and so she's paying homage to the original bad bitch, Joan of Arc.
Yeah, and it's a direct homage of whenever the Met Gala had heavenly bodies as their theme, and Zendaya wore something very similar to this, also
Okay.
paying homage to Joan of Arc. So
Okay.
it's sort of like
Good.
paying homage to Zendaya's homage to Joan of Arc.
Okay, perfect. Good. Because I was very confused. Apart from the collar, and then she said that it was Joan of Arc, but then I was like, I don't know if I'm supposed to. I was still caught up about the holes thing. So like maybe that was like a whole thing.
Yeah.
A
But
whole thing.
then I mean Jasmine, so Jasmine comes out and like has the reveal, but her look was like just like night, like the night sky kind of thing. Was that like
So
the
it came out first, and she had the
black and
Gemini.
white?
Yep.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
what she was doing was talking
Like
about
horoscope.
her horoscope as her sun sign as a Gemini.
Okay.
And then she got rid of that, and now she is like the galaxy itself, right? Representing like all of astrology. I actually loved her look, both looks.
Oh, I
of
think
it.
she-
I
I
think
thought
she
they
had
were
the best look.
gorgeous.
I think she had the best look and the best concept for the runway, to be perfectly honest.
Okay. Yeah.
There's
Those
some
are the
other
ones
good
that I had.
ones, but-
Those are the ones I had the most questions about in terms of like how they fit with the category. Because I think maybe they were the first two, and then it like took me a while to figure everybody else out. But I thought Jasmine's was like absolutely gorgeous. It was very pretty, and I thought that the reveal also was unexpected, and so that was nice.
It was a clean, different kind of reveal. We're used to something where somebody pulls something down or whatever, and this was like almost like she kind of ripped it off this way, and I thought that was really cool. I think, and that for me is why Jasmine would have moved to either third place on the or like the third bottom place, or even to safe, was because I really felt like if you really take what her character was and the things that she did bring, and then this look, she would be safe for me this week. Versus Diabetti, I think had one of the worst runways. That wedding dress was, I thought it was so ugly. I hated every moment of that look, but you can agree, you can like it, Aman. That you're grin right now.
I love Lady Gaga, so I got it immediately. But I will say that so when she fell, and it was unintentional. I mean, she, for the most part, she did go with it. But I'm like, girl, if you're gonna be on here wearing Gaga looks, at least know what you're doing. Like, you could have made that work not only by just like going with it, but literally, it's Lady Gaga masquerading as Mary Magdalene, and literally at the end of the Judas music video, she gets stoned to death and falls to the floor. Say that. Like, it's like, no, you're Gaga. I was so pissed off when she didn't say that. I was like, oh my God, you could have gone for that. And she just went right over her head.
I thought it was on purpose. I thought it was on purpose, Aman, because I was like, oh, wait, what?
I was like, come on.
I knew the fall wasn't on purpose because your ankles do not go in that direction.
It was giving very much America's Next Top Model season 7 when Tyra made them wear those sky high ass stilettos down at the judging panel. Oh my God. How did she not get sued for that? That was crazy.
I thought for sure we were gonna see a medevac. I was like, I thought her like bone was gonna be sticking out. Literally, I'm so
ankles,
sick.
honey.
They showed that like 3 times too in a row. It's not like they just show it when she falls. They're like, and now let's go back and watch it in slow motion. And I'm like, her body's going this way, but her ankles are going this way. That's not good. That's not good. But then even if you're trying to do a religious runway, even if you don't do the stone to death thing, which is what I thought she was going to do, I thought maybe she would at least like genuflect or something, because she's on her knees, which is where so many people pray and do that kind of thing. But no. She's just like, I'm going to do the same movement the entire time. This thing. I just didn't like I felt like the dress itself, I could tell was a Frankenstein, let's put a whole bunch of wedding dresses together, but not like it didn't either go too, it should have gone way further with, wow, look at how many dresses are together, or made it look more seamless like it was one dress. It looked somewhere in the middle. So for me, it looked discombobulated rather than like the concept of doing that look, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that's fair. I think another look that I didn't think deserved some of the hate that it got from the judges was Lady Camden's. I thought this was really cute. I love the way that she merged all of the Spice Girls kind of together into one. And again, it's something that she worships. So going based on that interpretation of the prompt, I felt like this really fit the assignment. So I felt like Lady Camden wasn't getting her due this episode, and I felt defensive some reason. So I just wanted to mention that.
I also don't get how that is costumey.
I don't know. Girl, I don't know.
I feel like that's their go-to critique when they don't know what to say about when they don't like it.
It's borderline
it's too costumey. I'm like, this is a costume show. I don't know how to tell you all this.
Well, technically it was couture,
I mean, if you want to say it looks crafty, that's one thing. But I didn't even think it looked crafty. Like, it looks good to me.
I was like, meanwhile, Deja is wearing a costume. I don't know what to tell you. Your top person is literally wearing something I feel like is an actual costume you could pick up somewhere. Just tailored a little better.
Yeah. Okay, let's see. What else? Anything else from the episode? So we do have the mini challenge to talk about, which was the create a wearable pop art using nothing but bubble wrap.
Oh, yeah.
You know, it was fine. I know, honestly, in all the drama from the rest of the episode, it was totally an afterthought. I thought some of the people put together looks that were like so good in such little time. I was very impressed by that.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was fine.
I'm surprised I forgot about that because it was celebrating my favorite thing, which is seltzer. I was like, oh, bubbly. I love bubbly. And then when they all went back and untucked and they had I was like, the way I'd just be like, can I have like 6 more cans for my hotel room? That'd be great. Thank you.
Just an ad for bubbly.
Okay. Listen, I've given up on trying to get Polar to sponsor me.
I'm sorry.
It's a sad moment in my life.
One day. Okay. So yeah, honestly, nothing much to say about that. I just hope they send somebody home. I'm just praying. I'm worshiping.
It's time. It's time to nip it in the bud. We're reaching the end of the wire, and from apparently some of the latest spoilers that we're hearing about a supposed season of Drag Race that's supposed to come on after this season. This season is supposed to end, I think, April 20-something. So you got about a little over a month left. Mm-hmm. So I guess they do have 4 episodes, 5 at the very most, to get this stuff down to the wire.
Send these queens home. Yeah. So that is the rumor. So the rumor / real thing that's happening is a all winners season. Yes. We're having Winners at War Drag Race edition. I'm very excited. I don't believe we have the cast list for that yet, but we will be talking about that and then most likely covering it when that season airs. So stay tuned.
We don't have an official announcement of the season itself either, but we know. And with that, I also pretty much know who's on as well.
Okay. We will get there.
But here's the thing. I'm going to put this out there again. I like seeing spoilers for who will be on certain things. I don't like looking at spoilers as to like what happens in a season. And there were some people who have like started tagging us and things a couple weeks in advance of being like, the whole Willow thing with like predicting that there would be a challenge or whatever, and be like, oh, I hope this doesn't come to bite them all in the butt. And I'm like, you knew, don't tag me in this stuff. Like it's fun to bring it up now. That's funny, but like, no.
Yeah, I think that's a good reminder. Don't tag us in those kinds of spoilers, right? Because we want to enjoy the show and be shocked and be surprised and be angry. If I get all my anger out beforehand, what will I do on the podcast? This is my ranting session.
Yeah, if I already know what's going to happen and then I go to podcast about it, it's like so boring. I'm like, yeah, well, I knew it was going to happen.
Okay. All right. Let's wrap up this section of the podcast. We can briefly discuss Drag Race UK versus the world. So, Aman, what do you have going on? Anything you want to plug? Social medias, all that?
You can always follow me everywhere at Aman Adwin. Knee deep in BB Can 10 coverage. It's been a volatile season so far, so check that out over at RHAP. And I just recorded another segment of The Casualty with Aman and B over on the Purple Pants podcast. It was a good one, y'all. We got into some shit. So definitely check that out. It should be in your podcast feeds Tuesday of this week. And then always at the choir room with Matt talking about Glee.
All
And
right,
that's that.
beautiful. Beth, what about you?
Same old, same old. You can follow me at AugustaWind11 on all my social media. I'm also still on my weekly meltdown. We are covering both Survivor and BB Can 10. And then Hot Mess Moments coming to you with The Nanny and Lost. And Aman's whole thing earlier about like, are we just too cerebral? Because we were covering The Nanny last night and I was like, I'm going to be honest. I think that we're dissecting the structure of The Nanny a little too much. It's a sitcom from the 90s. Nobody's thinking of these things.
Yeah.
Yeah, there weren't even podcasts then. No one was planning for that to be like,
We're like, you know what? I
like
feel
that.
like what they're changing the style with which they bring up a problem. I'm like, it's a dumb show from the 90s. I don't think we need to take it this seriously.
No. All right. Well, we will continue to take this dumb show way too seriously. And you can follow me on Twitter at Liana RHAP, podcasting about Survivor with the RHAP BNB. Mike Bloom and I are going to be getting together with the Love is Blind crew who just wrapped their season. So that will be Mary and Asia. And then Puya and I are also covering The Masked Singer, which we just recorded the premiere episode this past week, which was a total mess. Very silly, very fun. So I highly recommend you check that out. Okay, let's jump on into Drag Race UK versus the world. So it's done. It is the finale. We have our winner, and it is Blue Hydrangea, who is crowned the winner of UK versus the world. Beth, how did you feel about the finale?
At least the final two were correct.
Oh, thank God.
Ultimately, I just think this was relatively boring. I wanted more
Mhm.
tea to come out. And like the little reunion untucked that we had, I felt like the lip syncs were kind of underwhelming. They weren't amazing. Holy shit, crap, this is amazing, but they weren't horrible. They were just kind of solid. But I do think that Blue Hydrangea had an earned win here, and proud of her. I'm excited that she won.
Yeah, Aman, how about you? How'd you feel?
So I will be honest, I did not get a chance to watch everything yet.
Oh, no.
Well,
Although
spoilers for you.
I got
We should have
I had
I mean,
already
Mo
been
won.
spoiled.
Yeah.
I had been spoiled because I
Okay,
was
okay.
on Twitter like Tuesday night, and then I saw the congratulations, Blue Hydrangea. And I was like,
Yeah.
damn it. And then I was like, well, now I don't feel like watching it now. And then I just like never got around to it.
That's fair.
But I will say that I did see that both Moo and Mo and not Moo Moo and Blow. I will say that I was pleased that Blue and Mo did end up as the top two, and it was like the fact that Jujubee is now third place again. It's just like, what is going on here? Like, it's like, sis, obviously if this was whole strategy for you, Jujubee, where you decided not to be a threat so that you wouldn't get sent home, it didn't work this time either, because now you're third place again. So if you get asked to come back for another season of Drag Race, I don't care what it is, bring your A game, up them looks, and stop being so mediocre. That's all I got to say to you, boo boo. We love you. We always will. You're the great Jujubee. But come on now, girl. Come on.
I will say this: her finale look was the best she's ever looked on any runway and any season that she's ever done.
I will be glad to watch that.
But to your point, Aman, it was somewhat simple enough that I'm like, I could have seen you do this in All Star 5.
Five.
They're all melding.
I know. Too many. Five.
I just kind of feel like, I don't know. It was beautiful. It's the best she's ever looked. Everything from head to toe was gorgeous.
I think that's a problem with Juju. She's got those moments of greatness, and so it's like, yeah, that super superstar is in there instead of just a charismatic superstar. Yeah. But then so many of the times it feels like a missed opportunity. So I totally hear what you're saying, Aman. Look, this was so boring. So Drag Race UK versus the world has been my like Tuesday workout video. So I download it, I go to the gym and I do my little stair stepper, do the treadmill. And I was like, I am so fucking bored because it was just talking about nonsense. And then I was like, I'm done. I get off, I go to like do some weights, and then it starts getting exciting with the reunion, which I totally get, Beth, that you wanted more, but it was still really fun to have, Pangina and Jimbo in the same room again, and Blue was there, and I felt like some teeth came out. That was actually somewhat entertaining. And then we got the underwhelming lip sync. So at least we could say that, well, Mo and Blue were the two that were at the end. So at least I didn't have to worry, because once I was like, oh my God, is Baga going to be in the final? Like, I'm not going to be able to stay calm if there is a chance that Baga or Jujubee will win this season. So once it got down to those two, Mo and Blue, I was like, okay, that's fine. I can relax. I can breathe easy. And I kind of didn't really care of the two of them, which one were to win, but I'm very happy for Blue. I wanted Mo to get her recognition, but I did feel like Blue probably one-upped her in all of the lip syncs and in the competition. She had the win. So
we should have known it was going to happen when they had that whole storyline in the premiere about like when Blue confronted Mo saying like, well, yeah, I was, there at the club one of those nights when you were there and you were kind of rude to me. So now this is like the whole closing of that arc of like Blue beating the girl that was mean to her in the beginning. So yeah.
I forgot about that. That is a fabulous callback. I actually love that as like coming full circle, that now, the girl whose name you didn't remember, like she's the one who beat you at the end. That's beautiful. I love that. Or Bluetiful, I guess I should say.
Bluetiful. I will say my favorite line from this finale was when Mo chooses Baga, and Baga goes, "Why would you choose the dancer?"
Well, Mo was like, "I have to make the strategic choice. Like, I have to make the obvious choice."
Like, that was pretty great too. Mo going, "This is all strategy. It's strategy. I'm
doing." So what did she have to choose her for?
So yeah, go ahead, Beth.
Oh, so Mo had they did like the little spinny thing to figure out who does the first lip sync.
Yeah, it was the lip sync SmackDown.
Okay,
gotcha.
And then they choose, and so she chooses to go against Baga, and everyone starts laughing afterwards because Mo's like, "I'm just doing the strategic choice. This is the smartest choice you can make. It's purely strategy. It's nothing personal. I'm choosing Baga," and everyone starts laughing because Baga goes, "Why would you choose the dancer? Like, makes no sense." It was so funny.
Gotcha.
Yeah, it was, that part was amusing. Yeah, I think I would like skip the first half of the episode. I would probably watch the little reunion thing that they did, and then I would probably watch the lip syncs just to like have the sense. But
you have to watch the runway because you need to watch Lemon's runway. It was my favorite thing of the whole
I'm sure
episode.
Lemon came back with a vengeance because she's been singing like a little yellow canary ever since she got eliminated. So
Aman. It changed my life. I loved that runway so much. It was so good.
Lemon was asked, "What did you learn?" And she was like, "Nothing."
That was my favorite thing. Because didn't she ask that of everybody else? And they were like, "What did you learn?" She went, "Nothing."
Yeah.
Oh my god.
The reunion was the best part. And like Pangina interacting with Jimbo, and Jimbo being like, "I could have called you this, saying a bunch of shady stuff, but I didn't." But she had just
But I'm
said
not going to.
It was very like old untucked energy where people were willing to be shady and weren't worried about what the fans were going to say. So that was really, truly a joy to watch. But okay.
I did like some of their speeches too when they were
emotional speeches.
Yeah, I liked some of them. I felt like some of them had some really emotionally powerful things to say. I don't know if I really liked why is drag so important in the world here? I feel like that question would have been more powerful had it not been queens only from the UK and the US. You want to hear why drag is important in the world? It would have been great if Pangina was up there, or Janie Jacquet, who have two different franchises that aren't as well watched as UK and US, and are from, another one that is from Europe, but somebody who has a completely different cultural approach to drag in Asia. And I think that could have been a more powerful response. And so I hope that, should we have that as a question in the future, that we have more representation up there from different countries to answer it. Because I think that could be even more powerful.
What was weird about the whole thing was it was like, let's go through your journey. The season was like 6 episodes long. I was there. I watched them fail throughout the whole season.
Let's talk about how shit you literally all were in different ways.
So Jujubee, tell us about your 3 bottom placements in a row. How does that feel like?
And I love when she was like, and then I really hit my stride in the challenge.
Last
We're like,
week?
last week. It was one challenge and it was a week ago. You don't hit a stride once. That's not how you hit a stride.
I was so excited for this season. It was such a mess. I'm so happy it's over.
I mean, how many episodes was that? 6, 7?
Yeah, it was. I think only 6 episodes.
And
Damn,
just
it's
remember,
like if you could have like shaved off some of the American version episodes and then put it over there, then maybe
Can we trade? Like, I know it's international, but can we like swappies some of these episodes?
Just think, in the whole time that UK versus the world was on, only like 2 queens were sent home from season 14. Maybe 3.
That's so true. Yeah, because the season started after. So it's 6 episodes. Oh my God. Yeah. Wait, hold on. So we have had 10 episodes of season 14. We had 6 episodes and they managed to eliminate everyone but the winner. So they eliminated 8 queens when there are 8 queens left. Like what? Anyway, whatever.
Yeah.
You get our feelings.
Drag math.
Okay, let's get out of here. So boom. We will be back next week to talk about the Lollapalooza things, lip sync SmackDown for season 14. No UK versus the world coverage because that is over. And we will keep you posted on what's going on with the All-Star season, potentially all winners, all of that nonsense. Okay, so again, you can follow me on Twitter at Liana RHAP. You can follow Beth at AugustaWind11 and Aman Adwin at Aman Adwin. Leave your star ratings and reviews for us on iTunes. You can do that by going to robhasawebsite.com/drag race. Do it, please. It will help us. robhasawebsite.com/drag race. And that does it. That does it for us. So thank you to Scott St. Pierre for all your help behind the scenes. And we'll talk to y'all soon. Bye.